Hey guys, this is Camfrey 15.
Paco, stop it.
I scared my mom. Oh my
Wow,
God. Sorry.
that's a very unique start to this video. I'm joined by my
Um,
co-host, Red Wolf.
the
How are you
best.
doing today?
Um, I'm so sorry.
Seems like you're a very camper over there.
Just trying to lighten things up for her.
Anyways, we're back with another One Piece arc review, and we have finally, and I mean finally, have hit the halfway point of the series in terms of where our review is at. And that is, we're talking about Impel Down and the very, very much emotional Marineford.
Yeah, it's kind of lagging because of the connection.
Hold on for a second, guys. Sorry for that, guys. Hopefully there's no more issues going on the side because I don't know. I'm not seeing the issues here whatsoever. But anyways, regardless, we're here to talk One Piece. And man, this arc just was intense, just a lot of fighting, and then at the end, just very sad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Probably one of the most heartbreaking moments of anime in general. But it'd probably definitely be the death of Ace. And even now, I still have not recovered from it.
My mom is just looking at me right now like, let's make a big deal out of so.
anyways. We're here to talk Impel Down and Marineford. And let's get to it. So we'll talk about the story points, even though we're kind of going to go really all over the place, essentially, because this arc, these two arcs, when I talk about how hectic things get, they get pretty freaking hectic. You know? So, anyways. Let's get to it. Now, where we last left off, obviously, the funny Boa Hancock offered to take Luffy to Impel Down, and eventually they get to Impel Down, and essentially what happens is he kind of goes his own way. She goes his own way in reference to wanting to see Ace face to face and talk to him, which is her telling Ace that Luffy's here to save you. But you get a funny scene right before they split up, where Luffy's saying thank you, but Boa thinks he said I love you. This girl, man, she's priceless. She's priceless.
But I love her for that.
Yeah, she's just freaking priceless. Anyways, so what happens here is Luffy has to get to the 6th floor of Impel Down to be able to reach Ace. And in a few minutes, we'll all show you a diagram of the 6 floors of Impel Down. The type of thing, the hierarchy here in terms of who runs the place here is you obviously got Domino, who is a very attractive little girl warden, I guess you can say. You also have a very, I would say, bondage-looking girl with the orange hair and a very revealing outfit of hers. Yeah, we're not going to go into that. You got the vice chief warden, which is Hannibal, and then you got the warden of the place who runs it all is Magellan himself, and somebody you probably do not want to mess with. So, yeah.
Don't I know it? Oh my God, I still remember that scene. I was just like,
anyways. We'll be right back because I got to load up the information to discuss the, I would say, the hierarchy or the level system of Impel Down. So in a quick second, guys, we'll be right back. So hang tight. All right, guys. Hold on for a quick second as I actually load the entire full thing up. As it's loading up, as you can clearly see on your front screen, right then and there. I'll probably see if I can edit this in, so I'll see if I can take a screenshot of this mid-video. Anyways, what you see on your screen right now essentially is what I might say, well, the level system of Impel Down. Now, ignore the face people in there, but essentially, as you can see, Impel Down is one of the most feared prisons in all the One Piece world, if not, I guess you could say, buddy, you know, the most dangerous prison you could go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially.
Essentially, it's a prison of no return. So if you get stuck in there, expect to probably be in there for the rest of your life, probably suffering.
Yeah. Well, next you'll hear Luffy saying, "Hold my hat."
Anyways, one, Impel Down, eventually we'll do the overview of the entire map area of the triangular little system between Impel Down, Ennis Lobby, and Marineford. But Impel Down, which makes it pretty dangerous, from the aspect of the fact that it's not only 6 feet level down with like the 6th level being like legit on the ground floor. Again, like the Gates of Justice, I think me and my co-host can say they definitely had fishermen slaves had to build this prison. Just the the exterior of this prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree, but could Fishman even be strong enough to even pull off something like this?
Trust me, fishmen are strong. We've seen how strong fishmen are.
Yes, we've seen it, but oh my God.
Well, it's essentially like building a structure under the water, so.
But the structure is just insane.
Yes. I know. Another thing that is also a huge important factor, which again you'll see on the overview of the map, Impel Down is located in the Calm Belt. And if there's one thing about the Calm Belt that we all know is there's sea kings in the area, which means, yeah, it's hard to escape. Very, very hard to escape from this place. If not, you have probably like a 0.0000000.1% chance of even getting out of here. Yeah, that's a very low percentage of escaping. Although Luffy is one of the 2 people that actually do it, along with other people. But the other person I say who escaped Impel Down is Shiki. And yes, if you know who Shiki is, he's a canonized character in the One Piece storyline. Now, if you've seen One Piece movie, One Piece Strong World, yes, he's in it, but that's not the canonized version of Shiki, because in the past, it took Garp, I believe it took Garp, Sengoku, and I think it was only Garp and Sengoku who actually had to take down Shiki, and it was tough for them. And in the movie, Luffy freaking beats him in that one movie. So yeah, but anyways, check out One Piece Strong World. Really good movie. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the levels here. So obviously, we're gonna start off with the first level, level 1, which level 1 deals with the title, or it's given the title Crimson Hell. In other words, the thing is in this level is the reason why it's called Crimson Hell is because the trees and the grass are essentially a bona fide spiky area. And because of it, you get cut up a lot. And in this instance, you're also trying to run away from like things that are trying to attack you, and you're always getting cut up, which leaves a lot of people there to die, which is the reason why it's called Crimson Hell, because there's a lot of blood splattered. So yeah, crazy, crazy things. Level 2 is titled Wild Beast Hell, which there's our just regular wild beast roaming this level. As you see,
Wow,
Luffy and Buggy obviously avoid these things. You were saying, Denzel?
wow, creative.
The next level, which is level 3, is called Starvation Hell, which, when they show it, is essentially a level where apparently the inmates get no food whatsoever, and they're just there to starve. Plus, on top of it, you're in essentially a desert area, so you're screwed if you go there too. But I'm not trying to say any other area is bad. If you ask me, before you even get to the sixth level, I personally, if you ask me, level 1 seems like the most like dangerous one to even go to because it's all shark stuff, and you're getting chased by these poisonous things.
Ugh, poison, huh?
Well,
Oh,
those poison spiders, all these things that will attack the inmates that are on that level. So one, I guess you can say the Marines really are torturing your asses. They're like, nah, you're gonna have to serve the time in terms of well, forever, because let's be real. If you're convicted and you go to Impel down, they're not letting you free.
yep.
The next level, which is obviously highlighted in the image, level 4, which is titled Blazing Hell, which is essentially what it says. It's just an area where it's blazing in there because there's lava, magma, whatever you want to say, sort of a fire there. And people are just there burning up. Okay. Level 5 is called Freezing Hell, where you're essentially in a winter wonderland freezing, and hopefully you do not, like, I don't know, die because of hypothermia or just frostbite or something like that. So yeah, and then obviously what I would consider probably the most tame level is the sixth level, which is Eternal Hell, which is where all the regular old pirates are located at and stuff like that. As I stop the screen share and stuff like that. I'll see if I can try to do something so you don't, so I don't have to go through all that stuff. Anyways, those are the different levels of Impel Down, and yeah, that's not a. It doesn't seem like a fun place to be in.
Oh, you think? It's a prison for a reason.
Well, of course. Anyways, Luffy actually is running around on the left first level, and he actually runs into Buggy. And he kind of like forces Buggy to join his little crusade. In terms of giving him this little arm bracelet he has on him, which contains like Captain John's treasure or something like that, or a map to his treasure, which was funny. But Buggy's like, yeah, when I get to this certain level, I'm dipping his ass. But technically, you know, he kind of dipped like near level 3, level 4, but he eventually runs into him again. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
They also get chased by
sorry.
these warden people called Blue Gory, which look like freaking Jawas or fat Jawas from Star Wars or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. They start chasing them.
Mm-hmm. What's his face?
What?
What's he called again?
Who?
Oh, never mind. Keep going.
Okay. Do you know the design of what he looks like?
I don't remember. I don't remember his design actually.
Okay. Anyways, Luffy and Buggy, they eventually get past the first level and they get into the second level, which eventually they run into and find Mr. 3, who's obviously disheveled and looks in a terrible spot. And yeah, so that's another thing. Anyways, we cut actually to what's going on in Ace's level, and Jinbei, which is a pirate that was hinted way back, and I mean way back, before Arlong Park, well, in the Arlong Park arc. He actually talks to Jinbei because Jinbei somewhat knows Ace, And essentially, he talks about like Jinbei tells him like you obviously got pain in your heart with what's apparently going to be going on and stuff like that. Now Ace is trying not to hear Jinbei and everything. Now, anyways, the Marines eventually get word that Luffy is running around in Impel Down, and Sengoku is not happy because right now he's trying to start an execution going on, and he definitely does not want to hear anything that results in Garp's grandson, which he actually does get on Garp's ass about. He's like, "Can't you get in control of your damn grandson?" And he's also mad at Kuma too because Kuma let him free way back in Thriller Bark. So yeah.
Okay, would you say that Sengoku is still a pretty respectable character?
Yes, I would say Sengoku is pretty respectable. He was just doing he's just doing the job that's given to him by the world government. And plus he's a fleet admiral. So he's got to set an example for the rest of the Marines. I thought in terms of, standards, he was much more respectable than we say Akainu, who's running the Marines now.
Oh, of course. How can I forget?
So yeah. And like I said, the one thing too is pretty cool is a lot of fans do ask like it would be cool if we were to get like say a One Piece prequel, which I guess discusses the backstory and the events of I guess the time and the era when Sengoku and Garp were at their prime. I know there's been a lot of fans that actually have said, can we get like a prequel series of that? Even if it's like just a few manga chapter or like a light novel, a mini light novel, or maybe a 20 episode season of One Piece. I know that's probably asking for too much, and that's only up to Oda if he wants to do it. If Oda wants to go that route and do it, then okay, by all means do it. He can do it.
Yeah, as much as I hate Akainu, I am curious about what happened to him and what made him into the man he is today. Because okay, the last thing I want though is for them to give him a backstory and for some reason make us feel bad for him.
Well, we're gonna probably get a backstory about Akainu maybe in the final arc if they want to give us that backstory.
Because my God, they do that in a lot of animes. Like they make us hate one character, and then all of a sudden we see their backstory finally, and then we start to like feel for them a bit.
Okay. Moving on. Like I said to mention, the reason why Sengoku is also upset is he's like, we cannot let this pirate escape the prison because, like I said earlier, Shiki, who was titled, I think, the Flying Pirate or the Golden Lion, was the only known pirate at this point in time that escaped Impel Down. And like I said, if you want to see Shiki, you can watch One Piece Strong World. Even though that's not the canonological version of Shiki, he still was a pretty dangerous pirate in his heyday. So in the next level they get to after level 2 and their incidents, they're also being chased by these very giant bull animal like type of creatures that have awakened devil fruit powers as well, which is even worse. So this is actually the first time we see awakened devil fruit. It's not way in Dressrosa with Doflamingo. So this is the first time we deal with devil fruit users with awakened devil fruits, which explain why they're very durable. And anytime Luffy hits them, they get right back up. Anyways, they finally get to level 3, which is obviously Starvation Hell, and they run into Bon Clay, Mr. 2. And yeah, so that also, I know we're skipping a lot of things, but the shenanigans going on here were just hilarious and funny. I will say Impel Down is funny just for the shenanigans, but when they get to the serious stuff, they get fucking serious. In the meantime, as I put in my notes, Hancock finally reaches Ace, and she eventually tells him like, yeah, Luffy is coming to save you. And Ace is like, why? Why would he do this? Which kind of he goes on about the why are you trying to do this? Why are you trying to save me? Just let me die. I'm almost giving, honestly, the perfect Robin impersonation there, because
Yes.
that's what Ace kind of does this entire Impel down and mostly Marineford and telling the people, just leave me alone, let me die, and stuff like that, especially when reference to Luffy. So yeah. Now, also another thing the Marines actually hear of is the fact that yeah, Kaido is on his way apparently to Marineford to start some junk. Now, currently in the manga, I'm not gonna spoil it, not only for my co-host, even though I read that part, but also for you anime onlys who are checking this part. But I have a feeling, or I think, a potential reason to why he did that. I'm not going to say why. I want that to be, obviously, a great secret that is revealed later, but it's only a speculation that is revealed at some point on the Battle of Onigashima.
So it's not really a spoiler. It's just speculation.
Well, I'm not trying to. You'll see when we get to that part in the anime, and then I'll update you and say this is what I was talking about. I can't tell you because if I told you, I would have to legit spoil that part for you, and I don't want you to be spoiled.
Hear you.
But in the same instance, Shanks actually prevents Kaido from doing that, and it's funny how we know how strong Kaido is in the story right now, and I'm just wondering, like, could I see what happened there? Please and thank you. I would like to see how did Shanks handle a Kaido. Or, you know, apparently it said that they got into a scuffle and Shanks stopped anything from happening any further. So I'm wondering, did Shanks like stop him, like, I guess at sea, or did he stop him in Wano? We do not know. I'm guessing maybe Kaido was on his way, he was out at sea, and then Shanks just got in his way and stopped him.
Your guess is as good as mine right now.
Yes. Which that further makes the Marines like, great. It's already bad enough we got Whitebeard on coming, but now we're gonna get 2 more emperors in on this. They're like, well, that's just fantastic. The only left out one is Big Mom. And well, okay, we're back. Sorry guys for that abruptness. Sorry. Okay, what happened was legit my laptop cut out on the video mid-recording. And I swear, thank goodness we did this on Zoom, and Zoom actually like saves your recording so we don't have to do this all over again. So you guys won't see it, but when I edit this whole video, it's gonna be acting like as if nothing really happened. So anyway. Again, sorry for that.
So basically, for us, it was like hours. For you guys, it would be like 10 seconds.
Yes, essentially. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to the video. Hopefully that does not happen again. If my laptop cuts off like that again, then I'm really gonna have an issue. Anyways, oh my God. Okay. Anyways, like I said, we were talking about Shanks and stuff like that. Now, in the meantime, they're on level 4. You know, things just, they were going good until they got really freaking bad. Because Magellan shows up in front of Luffy and the others. And well, how would you describe how this fight went?
Oh my God, Luffy never stood a chance.
Yeah, so you remember how I said way back in Sabari Archipelago, or last week's video, how, you know, Luffy and crew do not like stand a chance against these higher tier characters? Yeah, no. He literally is going up against characters that he has no business fighting. Like, I'm sorry. He should not fight. Magellan's one of them. Blackbeard, even though it was more of a scuffle, he can't fight him yet. There's even debates if he can still fight him now.
Maybe.
Well, we don't know how strong Blackbeard's gotten in the after 2 years, though. That's the question. He tries to fight Mihawk in Marineford. That doesn't end well. Well, it would have not ended well. Again, he's still not strong enough to take on the pacifistas, as well as he tried to take on 3 admirals, but didn't really work either. So listen, Luffy is really outmatched here. And yeah, so he fights Magellan. Now, Magellan's devil fruit is the Doku Doku no Mi, which is the venom fruit. And essentially, he can just make toxic poisons and stuff like that. So essentially, he's a poison man.
My God.
Yeah. And what does he do to Luffy, which kind of ends their battle?
Simpler terms, he poisoned him. He poisoned Luffy constantly to the point he can't fight anymore.
Listen, I don't call this a gory scene, but when they showed the scene of Luffy just covering the poison was in his mouth, and he's like, no, like, that was legit disgusting. I was like, I can't look at that.
Spit it out! Spit it out! Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was bad enough. Now, lucky enough, Bon Clay has managed to save Luffy, and eventually they're in level 5 now, which is the frozen tundra area. And essentially, you see Bon Clay, which this was if there's anything about Bon Clay, this was his arc. This was his arc, man. I gotta say this. Bon Clay was a G. He was a G. He said at the end of Alabasta, him and Luffy are friends. That dude legit believed that to the end. Like, man.
I respect him so much, man. Despite his goofy appearance.
Yes. Like when they're in the frozen, Winterland, there's these wolves that are trying to attack him. He fights to protect Luffy, and I'm like, dang, this guy's just a good dude. He's just a good dude, and stuff like that. Now eventually, they get brought into this one group area, because Buggy and Mr. 3 eventually show up later on too, in level 5, as well. They run to Ivankov, which I guess you could say runs this little underground gang going on here in level 5, where they're partying and having fun, just having one hell of a time, honestly. So yeah, Ivankov, essentially, what happens is he's there to help Luffy because Bon Clay asked him to help him. Now, thanks to Ivankov's, or I'm just say it better, Eva for short, his devil fruit is the Horu no Mi, which is the Horm fruit.
That is the weirdest devil fruit I've ever seen. Just an FYI. Just changing your gender and everything.
Well, the meaning behind it is hormones, so it affects, like, I guess your, genetic makeup. Yeah, which is one of Eva's powers. He can legit actually change his fucking gender. Well, not change his gender, change his body type gender. Like, he's a dude, obviously, but he can change his body into that of a female. And yes, they, for some reason, give him a very attractive female-like body. No homo.
Oh, man. This makes me feel weird, and that I'll later feel bad for Sanji.
Yes. Just to get it out the way, I really, throughout this arc and even Marineford, I really did like Eva. Eva was a really good character because he really did show like, oh, I'm gonna be with you to the end, ride or die, essentially. I really did like Eva. He's a pretty cool guy, especially his I didn't put his buddy's name, but the dude with the devil fruit powers that can cut anything. He was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anyways, thanks to his devil fruit power, he manages to help Luffy. But the thing is with his devil fruit, for the treatment for Luffy to be rehealed, it essentially takes 10 years off of Luffy's life. So, I hope that doesn't come back to bite him in the end of the story. Hopefully not. That would be sad. But it's already not bad enough when you got Gear Second that kind of, drains your life force, shorter, but okay. But, yeah, that too. And also, he gets the same injection like twice in these two arcs. One time here, and then one time in the Marineford battle. So, yeah. Anyways, as they're talking, waiting for Luffy, because Luffy in this meantime is screaming like a damn banshee because of everything he's going through, Eva talks to Bon and Clay about bringing up about level 6 and stuff like that. So one thing, he brings up about a certain inmate who used to be working at Impel Down called Shiryu of the Rain, who is in prison on level 6. And the reason why he was in prison, because at first he worked alongside Magellan, and the two of them made Impel Down like legit create like, hell on earth. And the reason why he was in prison is he just killed people for his own reasons. Just did it for the fun of it, essentially. And they saw that and like, yeah, that cannot happen anymore. So they locked him up, and you could say he's probably a serial killer much.
Can't believe Blackbeard recruited him. Now they're in big trouble.
Oh, yeah. Also, we get a mention that Crocodile and, again, Jinbei are on the 6th level as well. Now, after Luffy kind of gets after Luffy kind of, is back to his old self, he's weakened, though. He's weakened. He wants to save his brother Ace because he knows everything that's going on. Now, the reason why he convinces Eva to essentially work with him, Eva, thanks to Luffy, tells him, oh, yeah, I'm Dragon Son. And we find out that Eva, he's in the Revolutionary Army himself, and he knows of Dragon. So I guess you could say he feels in debt to help Luffy because he knows Dragon. And he's like buddy with Dragon. So I guess that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. So he essentially gives Luffy another shot, which is just an adrenaline booster to get his, get some energy. But the thing is, Eva says, like, once it wears off, you're gonna be like out of crazy energy. Like you're gonna be like not even able to move anymore. Which we see later happening in Marineford. Anyways, we also see, because obviously Luffy's in the prison, they're like, okay, we need to speed up the execution time. So they actually start to pull Ace out of his prison cell, and they're taking him to Marineford to be executed, because they're like, we cannot let this dude come in here and try to mess it all up. We got to get this done, which you would think they would try to do it earlier. You would think the moment they have him, they would just execute him. Like, when they capture. Is there a problem?
I don't know if you heard it, but that's a lot of ringtones. Okay, go on.
Yes. Like I said, I don't know why the Marines, once they captured Ace, they just didn't take him to Marineford and just execute him there. I guess they wanted it to be televised, which it was televised, actually. Crazy enough as is. Anyways, Luffy finally gets down there, but he's already too late. Jinbei asks to go with him, as well as Crocodile. So yeah, that's also another thing. And also apparently Douglas Bullet was in there as well. But hey, Douglas Bullet, he's very dangerous. So we don't want to mess with him. either. So yeah. If you don't know who I'm talking about, watch One Piece Stampede. So yeah. And if you still haven't seen One Piece Stampede, I don't know what the hell you're missing, because that's a pretty good movie. Not my favorite One Piece movie, but it's still a pretty good movie. Anyways, as they rush up, they go through the different levels. Actually, Mr. One actually accompanies him thanks to Crocodile. So they're going up. Also, Blackbeard's at the prison. And he's about to make a whole bunch of things get even more crazier. Now, the Marines hear the fact that Blackbeard is at Impel Down, and what does Magellan do stupidly? You know, instead of trying to handle Blackbeard myself, I'm going to focus more on Straw Hat Luffy, who I easily beat. I probably should focus on Blackbeard. You know what? I'll do something better. Release Shiryu of the Rain, and maybe he'll take care of him. And I saw that, I'm like, why?
Why?
Like, I'm like, you imprison him. Why would he help you? That's like telling a crazy person you put in jail, or a wanted criminal you put in jail after finally capturing after 20 years. You release him to take care of some other threat. Are you not going to act like the wanted criminal might, I don't know, work side by side with the other wanted criminal that's at large? Because that's what Shiryu does. He eventually meets up with Blackbeard and joins his crew. Yes, which is another member to Blackbeard's crew that he adds, on top of an ugly lady and a bunch of other people and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, what happens is Luffy does fight the one Sphinx-looking guy, which is Hannibal. But then Blackbeard breaks in and he kind of beats him up to a living pulp. And then that's when you see Luffy and Blackbeard get into a little scuffle because Luffy finds out, oh, it was you that imprisoned my brother and captured my brother. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Yes, I did, Straw Hat. And stuff like that. And also Luffy remembers him from way back in Jaya from the Skypiea saga. So they get into a little bit of scuffle, although Blackbeard takes some shots, he even takes a bazooka from Luffy. But the one thing about it is Blackbeard is seemingly not really taking all that damage, if not took any damage whatsoever. So yeah. Also, another bad thing is Magellan's also chasing them too, so that's even worse. Thanks to Jinbei saying, leave Blackbeard alone. He's not the issue right now. We need to get away from Mr. Poison Man himself. And he even tells him, yeah, if you get poisoned again by him, you're not going to live. You're going to really die this time. And Luffy hearing that is like, okay, time to get the hell out of here. But then that's when we see Blackbeard confront Magellan and actually fight Magellan. And Magellan easily beats Blackbeard and almost kills him too. But then he finds out that Shiryu of the Rain was working with Blackbeard and tricked him. Which, eventually, by the time this entire Summit War saga ends, we find out that Magellan literally got beaten to an inch of his damn life.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job, Magellan. You just let a wanted criminal get out there. Although, you probably would have killed Blackbeard if you didn't do what you were going to do, and things might have turned out differently in terms of the One Piece story. Also, the reason why Blackbeard's still alive, he was given an antidote by Shiryu, I believe. So, yeah, that's also bad. Anyways, after that whole incident, Magellan is starting to chase after Luffy, and thanks to Mr. 3 using his wax powers, Luffy is able to, I guess, nullify and fight Magellan for a short period of time. But then that's when Bon Clay tells him, listen, go on, Straw Hat. And that's when you get the sacrifice of Bon Clay. Because the thing is this. So they actually get to the port of Impel Down. And the problem is this, which I'll bring up in the map of Impel Down and all that stuff. They got to get past the gates of justice, which are currently closed at the moment. and they can't leave if the gates of justice are closed. And in an effort to reopen the gates of justice, Bond Clay pretends to be somebody. I believe it was Hannibal. He pretends to be. No, he pretends to be Magellan himself. My bad, my bad. He pretends to be Magellan himself. Tells the other guards like, open up the gates of justice, and the guards are like, why? They're like, just open them up. And then we find out that that was not Magellan. It was Bon Clay, who obviously touched Magellan and is transformed him. Magellan finds out, and then that's when we get the emotional sacrifice of Bon Clay. And we still don't know if he's alive. He's probably dead.
He's obviously dead. He's obviously dead.
Yeah, especially the fact that Magellan like legit flooded the entire Impel Down prison with his poison.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's another thing. Thanks to Jinbei, they're also being a fisherman. They're also going across the calm belt, as well as he actually can talk to these whale sharks that are actually helping them get to Marineford and stuff like that. And that's when we lead into the Marineford arc. So in a quick cut, I'll be back and we will show you the map of the Marineford area, the three triangles connection between Marineford, Ennis Lobby, and Impel Down. So in a quick second, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're obviously back. And yeah, so anyways, as you can see on your screen right now, you're seeing the map of the three triangle little type of pyramid thing going on here. And there's a three triangle like type of thing between Ennis Lobby, which we've already been to, Impel Down, and Marineford, which is Marine HQ. Now, as you can see, in the far right corner, you already see where Amazon Lily is located on the map, and that's how you saw how they got over to Impel Down. Now, like I said, Impel Down, along with Amazon Lily, is on the column belt. So that's, you know, obviously not good because you got Sea Kings and everything there. But like I said, you also got the Gates of Justice that blocks you from getting into Impel Down and out of Impel Down. And the one thing about each area here is with Ennis Lobby, Impel Down, and Marineford is, you know, they have a whole current system going on in terms of, you know, what's going on. I believe when it's all closed, the currents just get wild and crazy when the Gates of Justice are, you know, closed. But when they're open, you know, things are on a one set current and stuff like that. As you can see this, you know, if you're trying to go from Marine headquarters to a certain route, obviously the route you'll be taken to Ennis Lobby. And if you go from Ennis Lobby to try to go anywhere else in this triangle, you'll be going next to Impel Down. And if you go to Impel Down, the next area you'll be going to is obviously Marineford. Another thing I guess you can see on the map is the red line, Marie was, and then you can see also how close Salbody Archipelago is to Marineford, which is pretty close and stuff like that. As well as, like I said, you know, things here get pretty freaking hectic, but hey, you know, that's just great geography there. Don't you love geography, guys? I know. Anyways, we're here to talk about Marineford now, which is the main gist of this arc and the main gist of this video. And we start off the arc by getting huge revelations that I did not see coming myself.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to explain what happened?
Where do I start?
Or what was revealed about Ace?
Oh yeah, the fact that Ace is actually Goldie Rogers, the King of the Pirates' son.
Was I able to help out at all?
And what else? What else actually? Because that was actually the biggest revelation that I actually found out.
Okay. You want me to go through the rest of the revelations? Okay. Also, so yes, he's the biological son of Goldie Rogers. So he's not the son of Dragon, which when I saw this I was like, oh, well, that's damn. So his mother is Porcus de Rouge, which Goldie Roger they hooked up in the South Blue. And the thing is, what happened is after Gold Roger's death, the Marines they essentially said, like, in the area where obviously he was last at, they wanted to see if he did have a spouse or if he had any, I guess you could say, any leftover heritage of him. And essentially what they did is they went through all the women, the last like few babies that were like, born, and they checked their DNA and see if he was related, if they were related. Now the thing with Rouge is she has yet to have given birth to him or to Ace. And what Rouge did was the fact that she kind of went over her maternity, like keeping herself pregnant for much longer than she was supposed to be. And when she finally gave birth to Ace, shit, I'm all messed up, man. When she finally gave birth to Ace, she died almost as quick as Padme from Star Wars died after giving birth to Leia and Luke. So yeah, that sucks. And also, before anything that all happened, Garp knew of this, and Roger asked him to look after Ace when he was born. But they made sure in order to keep his true like heritage, instead of naming him Gold D Ace, which would have been his accurate full name, they changed it to his mother's name, Portkis D Ace, and stuff like that. Because you just can't have him be named Gold D Ace, because he will put two and two together and be like Gold D Roger, Gold D Ace. Hey, wait a second. So that's why he got his mother's name. Now, he doesn't really like, Ace doesn't really like Gold D Roger, his father, but he does know that his father was the king of the pirates. He considers Whitebeard more of his father, which is kind of the thing about Whitebeard we see later on in this arc. Sengoku also runs down the fact that he started his own pirate crew called the Spade Pirates, which is actually a current, little light novel going on right now. So I haven't read anything. I've just watched people's reviews about it. That's just the backstory of Ace before he was into the Whitebeard Pirates crew and stuff like that. And that was his first crew. He was originally a captain of his own crew, but then he confronted Whitebeard, and then he lost to Whitebeard, and then that's when he joined Whitebeard's crew and stuff like that.
Become my son, Whitebeard said.
Yes. And Whitebeard, he eventually did tell Whitebeard about his heritage and that he's Gold D Roger's son. And you would think, and he thought Whitebeard would hate him for it because Whitebeard was the rival to Gold D Roger. But like Denzel said, he just opened him up like it was his own son, his own flesh and blood, which is the one thing about Whitebeard I really do respect. Bless you.
Thank you.
He sees his fellow crewmates as his family, as his, I would say, sons or daughters, if you're a girl in this group.
There aren't that many girls in this group, that's for sure. Except for that one.
Whitey Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, so Whitebeard literally raises from the depths of the ocean, like I don't know, Neptune himself. And essentially he's here to mess things up. And yes, as my buddy does, he activates his devil fruit power, which is the Gura Gura no Mi. In other words, you can either call it the Tremor Tremor fruit or the Quake Quake fruit. Personally, if you ask me, I'd rather call it Quake Quake fruit because it deals with earthquakes. And that's what his devil fruit power does. It essentially makes earthquakes and stuff like that.
And randomly causes cracks in the air.
Oh, well, it's a nice detailed design, though, for the look. It's like he's just, well, technically, he's essentially hitting the air. So, hey, it is what it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, also, Akiji also freezes the whole marine water areas, so they're trapped, so they can't do anything and stuff like that. Because there's also the tsunami coming behind them, but Aokiji, like I said, freezes that. So now they're kind of locked in and stuff like that. Also, some other big mentions, another big character that's in this arc is Marco, who is legit a really cool, badass character in just One Piece in general. His devil fruit, even though we do not have the English name of it, his devil fruit is the Tori Tori no Mi model phoenix. It's also an ancient devil fruit. His powers are really cool because he can turn into a phoenix, and plus he can heal you. So that's another plus. That's good. Luffy does arrive to the battlefield later, and when Ace sees it, he's like, Luffy, what are you doing here? And then you just see Sengoku and everybody else like, damn it, why can't we beat this guy? It's hilarious because of like, this guy's always doing something. He's always foiling our plans. He messed our plans way back in Alabasta. He messed up our plans in Anna's lobby, and now he's here in Marineford to create more ruckus. Or hell, even before Marineford, the Salbody Archipelago stuff going on. And you know, the Marines are like, dude, how is this guy not dead? Obviously, it's because of the determination and will of Luffy doing that. I also do like the interaction he has with Whitebeard by saying, I'm gonna be king of the pirates and stuff like that. And Whitebeard kind of pushes him aside like he's nothing. But then that's when I find later on, when Whitebeard finally acknowledges him, he's like, follow behind that kid. He's literally changing the world. When I saw that, I was like, dude, he's getting respect from an emperor of the sea. Which, sad part is, the only other emperor of the sea who respects him is really Shanks. Everyone else probably hates his freaking guts. So, because you got Big Mom who hates him, Kaido who definitely hates him. Well, I would say Kaido hates him, Big Mom definitely hates him. Blackbeard, I guess, just kind of laughs at him because he thinks he's not ready.
You're not ready to meet Emperor just yet.
Oh, yes. We're not going to talk over like things. We're just going to talk over. I'm just going to make some mentions about some huge plot points that happen here. I didn't put this in my notes, but there's a more comedic scene. When Luffy reunites with Boa Hancock and gets the keys, and oh my god. Would you care to explain this scene here, buddy? Because I know you're laughing.
Yes, when Boa Hancock gives Luffy the keys to Ace's, handcuffs, and Luffy just jumps up and then starts hugging her and all that, and Boa Hancock just literally lost it, going like, oh no. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Would you care to tell her what her imagination after getting hugged like that was?
Is this marriage, apparently?
They literally, and bro, if you're watching the anime version, I know they showed this in the manga, but they literally cut to her having a dream or a vision or a imagination of Luffy marrying her. And I swear, I saw this. I'm like, Boa is fucking hilarious. She also does save him from Smoker because Smoker tries to get involved because Smoker just cannot get enough of Luffy-kun. No
homo.
It's funny because Boa actually stops him from that happening, and she's like, "You will not hurt or you will not get in the way of my husband." And you have Smoker like, "Husband? What's going on here?" I was laughing when he said that, and he's like, what? And I would have laughed out loud if he had dropped his mouth, the typical anime route, and then his cigarette just fell out of his mouth, or a cigar, and he's like, husband? Was hilarious. That was hilarious regardless. That was freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Another big instance here we see here is what I would say, Luffy and Mihawk fighting are, well, not really fighting. I would say, again, it's a scuffle or a clash, which, hey, it was anticipated. Well, Zoro went up against Mihawk. He didn't fare too well. How would Luffy do?
Well, he's swordless, much less hockeyless.
Yeah, it's funny because they cut to this one scene where if Luffy made one wrong move, he would have legit got his arms cut off. Like, no joke. And this is Luffy using Gear Sucking against Mihawk, and yeah, Mihawk is definitely stronger than him. We still don't know what Mihawk's full power is. So, yeah, they kind of have a little scuffle there, and the reason why Mihawk's like, I let you go this one time, but I can't let you go this time, even if it's for your fellow swords friend. So yeah, or no, which he's talking about Shanks, because him and Shanks are like buddy, and he's like, yeah, even though I know Shanks and Shanks respects you, I have to stop you here and now. So it's my job. Which I guess you can say out of all the warlords of the sea, he at least follows the guidelines. I'll give him credit there.
Mm-hmm.
Some more things that happen. This happens later on near the tail end of the, near the end of the arc. Doflamingo attacks Moria, and he was presumed to be dead, which we see him later on in the Wano arc when we get an update with how Emperor Blackbeard's doing. But he kind of kicks the bucket later on in there. So he's okay. Also, another thing too, which is a huge moment, is Whitebeard actually gets stabbed by one of his own crew members. And the reason why is we focused on to one of the most hated characters in the show, especially the most hated character in this arc, which is Akainu, which, let's get into him. Apparently he says he goes by the words of justice, but he'll even attack his own men.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is there's a part where you see these Marines who just don't want nothing to do with the war, and they're just scared, and they're like, I don't want to be here. And then you just have them confronted by Akainu, and Akainu's like, where do you think you're going? And they're like, we're going to go back to the war. Okay, we'll be ready to fight. And then he's like, you're not going nowhere. Activates his devil fruit powers and literally kills him. And he's like, you're a Marine. If you don't fight for justice, then you're gonna die.
I'm just like, I was just angry. I was just angry at that moment because that Marine had a family.
Yeah.
I remember.
Listen, I don't know what type of sick justice he believes in, but dude, when he means he wants business, he means business. Like he's not playing around. So he lets that happen. We'll get to Akainu back in a second, but he's the guy that forced one of the Blackbeard crew members to attack Whitebeard. But you would think Whitebeard would retaliate and attack him for it. No, he doesn't. He just says, you are my son, and he hugs him and embraces him for it. And that's when Whitebeard's like, okay, that's it. Time to pull the gloves off him. Time to stop standing on my ship. I need to get into this action and save my damn son. And that's when he starts to go on the offensive and he starts to fight. Because Whitebeard, in this point, in this era, is known as the strongest man in the world. So, yeah. Now, the thing is, too, another big thing that happens is Luffy, well, again, I say, you're gonna see, when you go on YouTube and you look it up, it says Luffy fights 3 admirals, or Luffy versus the 3 admirals. It's not really a fight. It's just Luffy gattling some debris, honestly, at them, and has no effect on them. They're just standing there like, well, in the words of Kizaru, oh. So,
that derpy face.
Yeah. Again, credit to the admirals. They make a mention of like, I never thought you'd get this far, but we respect you getting this far, but this is when your game stops. But yeah, it's kind of again more of a clash/scuffle. Luffy kind of does no damage to them because mostly they're all Logia users, and Luffy gets wrecked here. And then because of it, what happens next is Sengoku's watching all this nonsense, and he's like, this is not good. Not good indeed. Also, in the meantime, they also cut off any television communication going on about what's going on in this war because they don't want the civilians to see. Because of course, you don't want the civilians to see because the Marines would lose faith in the civilians if they saw what happened. Anyways, so Sengoku's watching this. He's like, screw the bullshit. Kill him now. Kill him now. Which I'm just questioning. I'm like, why didn't you just do this when people were just popping up left and right? These Marines are stupid, man. They're just watching everything happen, get out of hand, this whole war start off. And you just have Ace chained up like this. And we're just going to watch this like a movie. Like, hey, everybody, hey. I'm like, I don't want Ace to die, but the smart people would just shoot him dead right then and there. And then guess what? You win. And guess what? You can try to capture everybody else in the area. Okay. But they got to do things officially, huh? Anyways, well, what do I say officially? That's why they cut off communications, because the Marines eventually get down and dirty, which they don't want the civilians to see. Anyways, Luffy seeing this, he screams out, "Stop it!" and he activates Conqueror's Haki again, which I believe is the third time he did it, or the second time he's done it so far. And when everybody sees this, they're like legit. The way I'm looking is what they're like. And Sengoku sees this. He's like, "Stop that man! Stop him!" And that's when everybody's like, are we trying to execute the wrong guy? Because I think he's the one that needs to be dead. No. Well, what do I say about Doflamingo? Doflamingo, he's like, this is crazy. It's so fun. He's just having a hell of a time. He's literally having a hell of a time. That's what Doflamingo is doing.
Benji. Oh my god, I can't get over that laugh.
And after Whitebird sees this, he's like, men, follow behind that person because he's gonna change the tide of this war. Which again is the respect that Whitebeard gives Luffy, and it's crazy to see that Luffy at this point in time got respect from Whitebeard like that this early on. So you know how Luffy had that time limit when it came to his adrenaline. Yeah, that kind of ticked out, and he's passed out and stuff like that. And he can't do nothing. But like I said, Ivankov or Eva gives him another booster, and again takes another 10 years off his life, which is okay. You got 20 years taken off your life. So how are you gonna die? You're gonna die at age 70 now, Luffy? Well, what do I know? A superhuman in One Piece can live up to like 150 years old. Just look at Dr. Correa. She's an old woman and she still looks healthy as can be.
Looks, huh?
Yeah. Anyways, he does this, and as he's getting to the scaffolding where Ace is being held at, you see obviously the other pirates get in the way of helping Luffy get to him. And this is when we get probably one of the most emotional scenes in this arc, and that was the clash with Luffy and Garp, where Garp is like, I don't care if you're my grandson. I'm a Marine and you're a pirate, and I have to be here to stop you. And Luffy's like, get out of the way, Grandpa. And obviously he's not going to move out of the way, but Garp does hesitate because he remembers well, just his past experiences with the funnies out of Luffy, and he hesitates, and because of it, Luffy literally punches him down and stuff like that. And it was a heartbreaking moment. It was like hard to watch. I'm like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing about Garp this arc is, Garp was really conflicted in this arc. Like, he really does love Luffy and he really does love Ace. And he doesn't want, and that's why he even told Ace, he's like, this is why I wanted you and Luffy to be Marines. I didn't want this to happen. And you guys just didn't listen to me and stuff like that. And you gotta feel for him. You gotta feel for this old man because, he really does love his family members, even though technically Ace is not his family member. It's like a grandson he looks after still. And Luffy's already his grandson anyways. And he wants what's best for them. And just to see that, I was like,
Yeah, yeah. That little heart-to-heart moment with him and Ace, while Sengoku was just looking at him like, you better not think about intervening and stuff like. And Garba's all like, of course not. He's a pirate, but family is another matter.
Yeah. And heck, even when after he got punched by Luffy, Sengoku looks at Garp, he's like, I knew he couldn't do it. I know he couldn't. He couldn't do it. Like I said, the whole structures of, relationships and stuff like this going on in this entire arc, like I said, where Garp seeing all this, he had to be hurt. Like I said, Ace might have not been his biological grandson, but he still looked after the dude. He still looked after him when he was younger and stuff like that. And he cared about Ace. And it's like, you could definitely see why he definitely retired at the end of this arc because the emotional toll, he just couldn't take it anymore. And stuff like that, which we'll get to the end of this arc. I'll talk more about it. Yeah, so Luffy finally gets to him. He frees him. We get this nice badass scene where they're covered by flames, and then you see Ace and Luffy finally reunited yet again. And you think everything's gonna be great.
Please, 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 please,
So,
please.
yeah. First things first. One, you got a giant Buddha Sengoku after them. Not even lying, like legit. That's what he is. He's a freaking Buddha statue. Two, Whitebeard also gives his final order for his crew to escape and run. And three, you have Akainu taunting Ace. And this leads to what we do not like to see, or the other downfall, the death of Ace. And essentially Akainu, he's just saying like, what a pathetic pirate, telling his crew to retreat and escape. You're freaking all weak. And then obviously, Ace takes offense. He's like, don't talk about my father like that.
Yeah,
huh?
but he's so like, take that back.
And heck, you see Luffy here. He's like, we need to go. We need to get out of here. We did what we did. You're free. And Ace is like, F that. This dude needs to get it for what he said about Whitebeard. And he starts fighting Whitebeard. I mean, Akainu. And, well, Whitebeard does fight Akainu. Fun fact with that, Whitebeard ends up getting a hole in his chest from Akainu, from one of his magma punches. Which, can we just say, Whitebeard he has crazy stamina. Like, this dude got cut up, got punched through the chest, and he's still, at this point in time, like, was living.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we saw him, he looked like he was on life support and stuff like that. Anyways, what happens is Ace gets overpowered by him, but in the meantime, instead of trying to go for Ace, Akainu goes for Luffy.
And also,
would you like to say what happened here, buddy?
Akainu tells Ace to watch what I'm gonna do, and he starts aiming for Luffy. But that's when Ace intervenes and then gets in Akainu's way, and the magma punch goes right through him.
Yeah. Before we talk about this, Akainu's devil fruit is the Magu Magu no Mi, or English translation, magma magma fruit. This was a gut punch. You know, I was like, well, I don't know how he's living through this. And technically, could you say, well, couldn't Ace just use his Logia powers to make the punch go through him? But I think if Akainu was using hockey, which he might have, he definitely still would have impaled Ace regardless.
Hmm.
And that's when you get the emotional death scene of Ace. And right before he dies, you hear him say, "Thank you, even though I had this demon blood inside me. Thank you, I thank you all for loving me." And he kicks the bucket.
Yeah.
And I wasn't crying, but it hurts. It definitely hurts.
And Luffy's reaction.
Yeah. If you ask me, honestly, I have never typically the whole anime protagonist trope is if you see somebody who was close to him die, they get really pissed off and really get mad. Here, completely different. Luffy just breaks out into an immobilized emotional state and he's done. Like, done. And, you gotta look with, like, everything he did. He went through a freaking 6-foot hell on earth prison after learning about this whole issue going on with Ace. He finally gets out of that whole incident almost after dying to Magellan. Finally gets here. He passes out because he's ran out of his adrenaline juice. He gets reinvigorated from Eva again, even though it takes off another 10 years of his life. Finally gets to Ace. Does all this freaking sweat, getting his ass kicked, literally, not even lying, gets his ass handed to him this entire saga. Does all this, finally gets to Ace, only to see Ace die right in front of him. And to him, it's like, I did all this for nothing. Which essentially is kind of the truth.
And technically, yeah.
He really did do all this for nothing. And that's when you just see, which I said, this is Oda just being different from every main protagonist. If it was Goku, he would have got upset. If it was anybody else, they get pissed and they attack the person who did that. Here, they did a different way. They just let Luffy break down in an uncontrollable state because he's just been, if it was me, I'd probably be tapped out. I'd have been like, fuck this, I'm done. And I probably would have been in the same state as Luffy where I probably would be immobilized and I'd be like, just kill me because there's no point. And it sucked to see that. And it's like, dude, he came this far only to lose everything.
Exactly.
Now, that wasn't bad enough. Blackbeard also shows up at Marineford too. And then he confronts Whitebeard. And essentially him and his crew shoot the ever-living hell out of Whitebeard. And stuff like that. So what happens next is Blackbeard covers him over with after killing him, and this is also after Whitebeard says the One Piece is real, because obviously Gold Roger told him that the One Piece is real. Blackbeard covers Whitebeard over some black cloth and comes out of it and has the access to the Gura Gura no Mi's powers. So now he has 2 devil fruit powers when we know if you have 2 devil fruit powers, you die if you try to get 2. We still do not know to this day how he has 2 devil fruit powers.
If only we got a look on what happened under that blanket.
That will probably not be explained till we get the final arc, and obviously Blackbeard's highly anticipated to be the final villain of One Piece. But hey, anyways, hold on a quick second, guys. Sorry for that. Had to charge my laptop. Anyways, okay. So that's bad enough. So Luffy's he's already immobilized and stuff like that. And plus Blackbeard is making earthquake hell on Earth. He's just destroying everything within his wake. It almost leads me to believe if he's like Shigarashi in an essence of trying to destroy everything. Anyways, he's just here creating chaos. Jinbei picks up Luffy and he's running with Luffy to get away from Akainu. And essentially, the rest of the pirates are just retreating because the Whitebeard pirates are retreating because, hey, they lost their captain. Other pirates are just retreating because, hey, we need to get out of here because we're screwed and we're going to get into trouble or we're going to get arrested, put an Impel down again, or killed. What happens is the reason how Luffy gets his little X mark, thanks to Akainu barely grazing Luffy in a punch, that happens. Luckily, Trafalgar Law is there to take care of Luffy and nurse him back to health. So that happens. And then this is when we get one of the crazy scenes, which is the scene that ends the war. And that is relatively around Kobe. And I totally forgot. Yes, Luffy and Kobe have a little scuffle in this whole Marineford incident. So yeah, and if you want to explain what happens with the Kobe thing.
Yeah, after Kobe, after seeing everybody like still fighting, still killing each other, Kobe just lets out a scream like, "Stop fighting! There's no need to like fight anymore. Like, let's end this war and all that stuff." But Akainu, being how he is, standing over Kobe, he's like, he was just gonna kill Kobe right there. Just for like sounding like a so-called coward, he said. Is that what he said? Yeah.
I think so, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's before he could kill Kobe, Shanks intervened. You can take it from here.
Yeah, Shanks is like, listen, it's done. End this. It's over. How about this? We'll go your route. Listen, you guys got what you wanted. You killed Ace. The pirates lost. You guys won. Let's move on and act as this never happened. We'll go our separate ways, and the next day you can go back to doing what you typically did and stuff like that. And he said, well, but if there's anybody else that still wants to keep on fighting, okay, I got my pirate crew. We'll surely entertain you. And you have Blackbeard in the background. He's like, yeah, I'll live to fight another day. He pieces out. He deuces out. And Akainu sees this, and he's like, fine, we'll back off. Because, let's be real, I don't think the Marines have enough reinforcements to deal with just one emperor. Because they dealt with one Emperor of the Seas crew. I don't think they have enough casualties left, or enough people left to deal with another one.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So the war ends, and essentially you could say Shanks caused a ceasefire and caused the end of the war. And the Marines take responsibility in winning the war because they got what they did, and that was executing Ace and killing him. Shanks also does pick up his old straw hat, gives it back to Buggy, and tells Buggy, give this to Luffy. because he still has yet to fulfill what he needs to fulfill. Which you can say that is the only other time Luffy and Shanks got close to one another. But the sad part is Luffy was out of commission, so he couldn't see Shanks, and stuff like that. So yeah, that whole thing happened. So the war has ceased. The whole public is brought to know that the Marines did win the war against the Whitebeard pirates. So they're obviously cheering and everything. In the aftermath, which is really the post-war arc, but I'm going to add this in the Marineford arc review. What happens here next is you just get the climax and the resolutions to this. First things first, back on Amazon Lily, because that's where Trafalgar Law takes him, although Boba Hancock's like, you can only stay on the outskirts, you cannot be on the city limits or anything. So mostly also, too, because Trafalgar Law is the only person that can heal Luffy back to his full self, thanks to his devil fruit, mostly. Anyways, Luffy finally recovers. He still can't get over the Ace's death. And if it's thanks to Jinbei making him remember that you still got other friends out there that, that are there for you and stuff like that, which cuts into the Luffy backstory. We're not going to go in depth with the Luffy backstory. We're just going to kind of skim over it because we're trying to finish the video. The Luffy backstory, which explains why he doesn't want to lose anybody he cares about, is because in his past backstory, when him and Ace were kids, they met a friend or another little boy by the name of Sabo. And Sabo, in their neck of the woods, was of royal blood. He was in a royal family. But he did not like his royal family because his royal family was, like I said, no better than the Celestial Dragons. If not, they looked themselves like that.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually that's when you get the whole typical thing where you have them with the 3 cups, the 3 Bond brothers, and they drink the sake cups, promising that all 3 of them will become pirates and sail out to sea at one point in their life. So what happens next is Luffy and Ace kind of get cornered, and they get forced. Essentially, Sabo gets forced by his father to go back home to his family and stop messing with Luffy and Ace. And he's like, essentially the father's like, come back and be a royal, otherwise we'll kill these guys. And Sabo essentially is like, okay, father, I will. And he goes back to, obviously, the royalty of, being a, I guess, royal family member, which he hates. It's not bad enough, too, because what does he have that kind of pisses him off even more?
I think my mom's kind of distracting me. Go on.
He has a little brother who I totally forgot his name. A little brother who is, well, Jesus, you could say he was with his mother and father. That's apparently Sabo's stepbrother. And yeah, he's an absolute asshole. That's all I gotta say. The brother is like he is bad.
Yeah.
Like,
and really hideous, I must say.
Don't even get me started with that. Thank God we don't see him for a few more arcs till Reverie. I know Sabo wants to punch the ever-living you-know-what out of him, though.
Mm-hmm. I know I do.
Yeah. Anyways, because of that, he eventually escapes again because he can't take it anymore, especially from the aspect of, Sabo sees these poor people needing help, but he sees that, his family's not doing anything to change it and stuff like that. And Sabo's like, okay, F this. If you guys are going to act like this, then fine. Now, personally, if you ask me, Sabo probably should have dealt with the BS until he finally ruled over the Goa Kingdom, and then he could have ruled in his own way and been a more respectable king. I guess he could have went that route, but I understand the route he went still.
Yeah, I guess.
So anyways, he does reunite with Luffy and Ace again, but things happen to where when he finally sails out to sea, the Celestial Dragon essentially blows up his ship and he's presumed dead. So that happens, but Dragon ends up saving him, and then we find out that he's not really dead. well, when we find out that later in Dressrosa, but we'll continue that storyline in Dressrosa later. Yeah. And that's why Luffy, he says that he doesn't want to lose anybody. Now, to Luffy, he's lost both of his brothers. He's lost Sabo and Ace. Also, you see this nice memorial type of thing with Whitebeard and Ace, which was pretty nice of them to leave. Like the memorial, tombstone of Ace has his hat, and then obviously the Whitebeard one has his jacket, and stuff like that. Now, some things to clean up here. One, Marco and the remaining members of the Whitebeard Pirates end up fighting Blackbeard's crew, but they lose. And that war is called the Payback War. Now, there is no images of what happens there. All we know is Blackbeard's crew absolutely dominated what was left of the Whitebeard Pirates, which led the Whitebeard Pirates to disband and go on their own separate ways and stuff like that, which the one thing about what's going on in the One Arc is they're trying to bring Marco back, which so far isn't looking good for Luffy and their crew because Marco's taking care of something else that he can't deal because he got to deal with apparently what is Whitebeard's son. Anyways, yeah. What else? The other supernovas hear this, and some of them prepare to go into the New World even before the Payback War. Jewelry Bonnie actually did run it and get captured by Blackbeard, and that whole incident. Talk about how despicable Blackbeard is. He's like, if you're my woman, I'll let you go free. And obviously, Jewelry Bonnie's like, you can go F yourself, essentially. And stuff like that. So, okay, yeah. And really, for the time being, until we get to Reverie, that's the last we see of Jewelry Bonnie. Kid and Killer, they prepare to enter the New World and stuff like that. Another thing, too, is when Luffy finally recovers, he also reunites with Rayleigh again, and he agrees to train with Rayleigh to hone his hockey skills. But before that, Luffy with Jinbei and Rayleigh, they return back to Marineford. Luffy rings the bell in a respect for Ace's death, but as well, he rings the bell 16 times, as Kid and Killer mentioned, which is the start of a new era, which is the whole thing about the end of Marineford was it's the start of the next generation of pirates, the new era of pirates, because Whitebeard is one of the, I guess you can say one of the few exception of pirates that are left from the old era. Really, technically, you could say the only two people left of that old era is Kaido and Big Mom. But yeah. So that all happens. In the meantime, Luffy's also in the paper. Now, they do cut over to all the other Straw Hat Pirates. One, Zoro finds out that Mihawk is where he's at, so we ask him to train under him after he finds out what Luffy means. You have a fat Usopp, Chopper, Robin, who was on the one bridge in Tequila Wolf, eventually gets freed by revolutionaries, and she joins the Revolutionary Army for 2 years. After hearing what happens with the Luffy incident, Nami on the Sky Island sees this. Anybody else I'm missing? Frankie sees it as well as Brooke. And the thing what they see is instead of going right back to Sabaody Archipelago after seeing like, oh, Ace died, my captain probably needs me to comfort him and be there for him, which is what they're going to plan on doing, which is nice of their crew member. Oh, I totally forgot Sanji because he's being chased by freaking them people. Another thing is, Eva comes from that island, and he's kind of the ruler of that island, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways. Also, in this point in time, Sanji legit is dressed up like a girl. Like, legit. He's dressed up like a girl. Dress and everything, and he's acting very feminine.
What did they do to him? OMG. That still haunts me.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now, the thing they see, which doesn't make them go back to the archipelago on site, is they see that Luffy has a tattoo on his arm that says 3D2Y, which means in 2 years we'll meet up in 3 days, essentially, and stuff like that. Or 2 years, 3 days, we'll reunite again, and stuff like that. So I guess the start of the year in 3 days. Which, funny enough, there is a One Piece special called 3D2Y, which I think is a pretty good special. You can honestly put that in the timeline because it takes place sometime during the 2-year time skip of One Piece. So, yeah, like I said, highly request to watch that movie because you get a Luffy x Boa team up there. So you can find that on Verve, Crunchyroll, and Funimation as well. But you got to have a premium account to see, certain versions of that. Oh, well, if you don't want no ads on it. But anyways, yeah, that happens. Like I said, Luffy trains with Rayleigh for 2 years to learn how to better use of haki. Jinbei actually dips. He's like, yeah, if you want to see me again, come to Fishman Island and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's really it in terms of everything else. Anything else I gotta say? No, that's for majority of the part. That's really it. Yeah. I guess the only other things too I guess to mention. Sengoku actually retires from being Fleet Admiral. Garp actually retires from being a Marine, even though technically he still has an influence in the Marine system. But I can understand why Garp retired. It was just too much for the old man to handle anymore. I think you could say, I think you'd say he was mentally tapped out, and I think he just wanted to chill and be an old man. I think you can also say the same thing for Sengoku as well, because he was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done." And again, it leads to their time because they're from the old generation as well, from the past generation, the past era. Time to move on to a new era and stuff like that. They also do cut over to Luffy's home village, and obviously you see Makino very emotional. Also, she has a baby. So, who is the baby daddy? I would like to know. Was it Shanks?
Maybe.
I have no clue, but apparently Makino has a baby. Maybe Shanks was the baby daddy. They did look like they had something going on between the two. I don't know. So yeah, obviously Makino's very, emotional about the whole Ace situation, him dying and stuff like that. And I think her and the caretaker of Ace and Luffy kind of blamed Garp for not like doing anything. Heck, even going back to Marineford, when Akainu killed Ace, Garp is like, Sengoku, you better hold me down because I'm going to kill that guy. Which, I saw that, I was like, dang, he really wants to kill him. Like, he's out for blood. Which I guess I don't blame him for doing that or wanting to do that. But like I said, they somewhat kind of blame Garp for like not trying to step in and stop this thing from happening. But the caretaker, I forgot her name, the one lady, is like, whatever Luffy does going forward, I'm always going to support him no matter what. And Garp also does tell Makino and the caretaker that Luffy, to his knowledge, is still alive. So yeah, and like we said, they don't get another update about Luffy till literally after the 2-year time skip or when they get their bounties out there again. So yeah, and that's really it. And that's all I gotta say. Luffy, before he goes training off with Rayleigh, he puts his hat on this rock, his straw hat on a rock, and says, I won't pick up the straw hat for another 2 years. And that's also when the other straw hats see all this, they decide to train to get stronger. In 2 years' time, that's when they'll reunite. So that's when the Marineford or the Summit War arc or Summit War saga ends. And man, this was, oh boy, A really, really game-changing arc, man.
Mm-hmm. Still can't get over it.
Yeah. This was honestly like one of the best parts of One Piece. If the Summer War saga in general isn't in your like top, you know, I would say freaking top fives. Jesus, I don't know what you're missing. Marineford, it was just hectic altogether. So because I know Marineford, it's in my top three, and heck, even in my top five of One Piece arcs. So yeah, and like I said, the crazy thing too is My Hero Academia is kind of going through a similar theme, and I'm just waiting for them. I'm just waiting for the very impactful death, which has yet to happen, but I just know it's going to happen. As of this video is going on Monday. As of yesterday, obviously you know what happened there. If you read the My Hero Academia manga, but that arc is actually coming to a climax there too, and I'm just waiting for My Hero Academia to get a time skip. But yeah, every anime has this big war arc, whether it's to a climax of the series or if it's just the midway point. And this arc really great. I love Impel Down, and I love not Ennis Lobby, Marineford. Yeah, there's nothing else I got to say about this arc. There's nothing else I got to say about this arc. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Oh my god, just that I was really emotional. Rest in peace, Ace, and all that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out that my mom has been making eyes at me the entire video. I love her. I love you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one good thing they do about the Ace thing is they do have many callbacks to Ace. Wano, they bring him back because he knew Otama. As well as in Stampede, just because it was more of an anniversary movie, they do pay a tribute to Ace at the end of Stampede, which I really did like a lot. I know you loved it a lot too, which was honestly the perfect end to that movie.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But we have finally hit the halfway point of the story. And next time we will be coming back with, the Fishman Island arc, even though technically you're probably saying like, what about Return to Sabaody Archipelago? I'm just going to combine that into two arcs and make that the entire Fishman Island saga. So next video will be the Fishman Island arc, which let's just say I'm not a fan of. And thank God it's the last arc that I'm not a fan of.
I think it's fine.
Oh, okay. I think Fishman Island is fine, but it's not my favorite arc.
What is it exactly that you don't like? That's what I'm curious about.
Forty Jones. Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah, true. True. I don't like Cordy Jones, but I do like the story. It's actually pretty interesting in my opinion.
I would say the backstory in terms of the whole relationship between humans and fishmen, that's what gets me the most. That's what I like most about the story. But the whole little thing about, what was the main objective of that story? One, there was no story. And two is kind of the whole thing of protect the princess again. And yeah.
Go on.
So yeah, like I said, Fishman Island, that is the last arc that I have any issues with whatsoever. So you won't be, after that arc, you won't be hearing me say like, oh, Punk Hazard, I hate that arc. No, I'll say I enjoyed it. I'll definitely say there were some things I didn't like, but I still enjoyed it for what it's worth. But we're definitely going to be getting into the New World saga, or just that before we get into the Yonko saga. And then, we'll finally be caught up to where I'm currently at, doing reviews for One Piece Wano arc reviews. So, yeah. our episode reviews. But anyways, I think we can finally get out of here because we've been here long enough. So next week, guys. Yeah, next week, we'll be back for Fishman Island arc review to talk about the return of the Straw Hats. Anyways, guys, this has been Ken for 15.
And the Red Wolf.
And hopefully you guys liked the video. So if you liked the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on Marineford and Impel Down and the impact it had on you as a fan of One Piece, as well as hit that subscribe button to get more One Piece arc reviews. We only got, well, Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island. Since they're super long, we might split up into 2 different videos because they're just damn near long arcs. Anyways, so we only probably got like 4, 5, 6 more videos left, and then it's it. And again, the only way to get any more updates of me in terms of the story is if you watch my One Piece anime episode reviews. And when the Wano arc for the anime ends, which we don't know when it will end, we'll come back and make an arc review for that. So yeah. So other than that, like I said, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece anime episode reviews or more One Piece arc reviews. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And whether you're checking this video out day or at night, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your enjoyable day. So till then, guys.
Oh my god, I can't believe you made it this far into the video and haven't pressed the like button. I'm disgusted.
Okay. We're gonna get out of here. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Peace.
Peace.